What's up, everyone? This is Bacon here, and today we are doing a Laios. Don't know how you pronounce his name, but we are doing a hero overview of the new Dimensional Hero. He is, from what I've heard, pretty good, but I don't really know anything about his kit, so we're gonna go ahead and take a deep look into it. I've kind of glanced over things, but I really haven't seen much. So he is a dimensional hero that you can get from participating in the current event. You can get both dimensional heroes, as I've mentioned in my previous video. You just have to basically participate for 10, or not 10, 7 days, and then you will get them both. He is a warrior, he is a strength based, and then he is primarily a control type hero, whatever that means. So let's go ahead and take a look at his abilities. His ultimate skill, Hound's Tooth. Laios mimics a dog stance, frightening enemies in front of him and immobilizing them. The stance lasts for up to 3.5 seconds, during which Laios is unable to perform any other action. For the duration of the ultimate, Laios is immune to control effects, takes 60% less damage, and gains 60 points of buffer, but cannot recover energy. If Marcel is on the team, using Laios' ultimate will grant Marcel the Loyal Hound effect, boosting her attack rating by 30%. And then at level 2, he takes 80% less damage, and at level 3, he gains 80 points of buffer instead of 60. So, one thing that's kind of significant is that you'll notice that he can be pretty tanky based on his ultimate, which is really nice to have. Kind of not a cheated death necessarily, but makes him hard to kill. I also love the boost attack rating that Marcel gets from him, and I believe she also has a buff if he is in the game that she gives to him as well. So there's kind of like a dual, a lot of reason to have both of them together. Looking at his other ability, whew, man, this is a long one. Local ingredients. While Laios survives the battlefield, will be infested with monsters periodically. Driefs, slimes, or fiends will appear and wander into the enemy battlefield to taunt nearby enemies and leave behind meal ingredients after being killed. When Senshi gathers these ingredients and adds them to his pot, his next meal will boost the vitality of allied heroes by 25 points for 6 seconds. Monsters that enter battlefield will be affected by Marcel's rewrite effect if she is an allied hero. So that's another thing right there. Another thing where they kind of work together when placed together. At level 2, meals containing ingredients obtained from fiends and will grant allied heroes 10 points of crit rating and 10 points of crit damage amplification for this battle. This does not stack. Level 3, meals containing ingredients, blah, blah, blah. 10 points of tenacity and reduces their damage taken by 10% for the battle. Doesn't stack. And then meals, holy cow, this is a long one. Meals containing Drief seeds will cause attacks of allied heroes to reduce their target's haste by 10 points and their physical resist magic resist by 10 points upon dealing damage. It lasts for 5 seconds and does not stack. Man, they are making me read today. Alright, Monster Cuisine is a passive. At the start of battle, Senshi sets up a pot of food to cook at the edge of the battlefield every 8 seconds. Senshi completes a meal and distributes it to all allied heroes, restoring health equal to 100% of attack rating for 6 seconds after an allied hero consumes a meal. Their attack rating is increased by 15%, and they gain an extra 10 energy when healed. This energy recovery effect can be triggered up to 10 times for each meal eaten. Marcel recovers an additional 50 arcana for each meal eaten. Another connection with Marcel, so that's great. Health recovery is increased to 130% of attack rating. They both gain 50% healing from eating meals, and attack rating boost is increased to 20%. When using his ultimate to intimidate enemies, this is his other passive, Laios will also analyze enemy heroes in front of him, applying 1 stack of analysis on the enemy every 1 second for a maximum of 6 stacks. Each stack reduces the damage the enemy deals by 3%. Damage reduction from each stack of analysis is increased to 5%. Each stack of analysis also increases the damage dealt to the enemy hero by 3%. At level 4, while an enemy is being intimidated, each stack of analysis increases damage dealt to the enemy by additional 5%. All right, so you can see there's a lot going on with all of his passives and abilities. But let's go ahead, look at his divine effects. Meals containing Drief seeds, blah, blah, blah. We've already read this. I think this is just the ability. Yeah, this is just that ability. You unlock that. While enemies behind is being intimidated by Laios, each attack of analysis further increases damage dealt. Yep. That's that one. That's level 4. And then I believe Laios recovers 4% of his max health every second, plus an extra per second for each type of ingredient he has eaten during battle. Okay. Just a first glance, I mean, I think I hate to say this, but I think getting 5 stars might be the way to go with him. I think at least 3, but I think 5, like healing 4% of max health every second plus 1.5. I feel like that's pretty solid. I'm just not totally getting this, but I feel like that makes him pretty annoying to kill and take down. Let's go ahead and see what his signature item does. His normal attacks increase the level of trust between himself and Kinsuke, with each stack of trust increasing the damage of Laios' normal attacks by 10% of his attack rating. Trust can be stacked up 10 times. Each stack increases damage by 3. By allied heroes by 2. And then while Laios is using his ultimate, Kinsuke flies from his scabbard and attacks 2 random enemies every 5.5 seconds, prioritizing main heroes suffering from control effects. Kinsuke's attacks are equivalent to his normal attacks. Okay, so my initial thoughts, activation I think is just a must for everything. I feel like it just makes sense. I mean, maybe plus 10 is like the kind of middle investment. But I don't know if 30 is worth it. I don't know if maybe 20. I mean, that 20 sounds kind of nice, but I think 10 it might be the sweet spot. We'll see. These definitely not like guaranteed. Like, don't go off what I'm saying right now, because we'll learn a lot over the next week on what is best. But my initial reaction, I think even though he's considered control, it sounds like he's buffing a lot of his allies, a lot of Marcel if she's on the team, which I would assume she would be most of the time if you were using him. And I just think he does a lot of debuffing, a lot of buffing, and a little bit controlling as well. And I would imagine he does some damage. Let's go ahead and take a look of him in the Arena of Trials, just to see what he's like. And we're going to actually just do one of these to see what he's like in actual battle. I think he's probably should be a frontliner. This is just like a busted team. Let's go ahead and put him in and see what he does. Well, let's get to see what she does too. I mean, I just killed him so fast. But I'm kind of liking what I'm seeing there. Yeah, Marcel is kind of cranking and he's healing. I like that. He's also tanking. She's also doing some tankiness, so I like to see that. That's a good sign. Let's go ahead and try one more, and then we will be done with this overview. Let's see if we can just do it like this. This might not work. All right, Arthur, get out of here. Don't really care about you. I mean, I know this is about Laos, but Marcel's kind of cranking some damage out here with her little lightning thing. Yeah, she's doing some damage, and he's doing a good amount of healing. I like the combination there, honestly. And then she is doing a ton of shielding too. This is very basic, but I think Marcel's kind of busted with Laos together. So let's just go ahead and finish up here, see what his stuff looks like. You can see him just kind of tanking some boys. Got his little pot up here. Got his little slimes, his little monsters going around. You saw a little bit of healing come up. Yeah, I definitely feel like he is more of like a tanky support hero. Definitely not a damage dealer, but I think he can still handle his own, which is nice to see. You can see his little minions there. That's kind of fun. and you can see his little food pot kind of heal him up, give him some buffs. Yeah, I think both these heroes are going to be really solid. I'm actually really excited for these. I think first glance, I would say really good with Forked Fate, normal tower, normal campaign pushes, and maybe even some bossing. I'm curious to see what Marcel's damage is like against like a clan boss or other areas where you're kind of doing single target damage. Because I think he adds a lot of sustain, but also I like the debuff and the defense lowering that they offer, and also the increased crit damage and crit chance. I think that's pretty valuable. So I think they could be good in a lot of areas, potentially everywhere. This begs the question, will there eventually be a dimensional tower? Because there's already a ton of dimensional heroes and companions for how long it's been out. And I think a dimensional tower would make these heroes even more desirable and a little fun. Something that has never been in Classic and would be fun to have. So we'll see. But that is my hero overview of Laos. Thank you guys for watching. I'll have a Marcel one coming out soon. And as always, hope you have a great rest of your day. Peace.